What is going on, Wolfpack Nation? We are back for another banger of an episode here as we are counting down to the beginning of the 2023 NC State football season here. And we have here with us one of the all-time greats to come through and wear the NC State uniform, and Richard Washington, man. Again, just, from the Fort Myers, Florida area, one of Chuck Amato's gets, man. And again, Richard, first of all, thank you so much for joining us, man. We really do appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm happy to be here, man.
Yeah. So we were kind of talking a little bit beforehand, but if you're listening to this and not watching this, and you're missing quite a view behind Richards, he's got some man cave jerseys going on behind you. So you got your Tangerine Bowl jersey, which is definitely one of your highlight moments, catching a couple touchdowns from the GOAT himself, Philip Rivers. So
absolutely.
That jersey would go for a little bit if it, if any. I mean, you might be getting some calls from some of our viewers, maybe trying to see if there's a price for that jersey, because that's and it's clean too, even though it's white. It's pretty clean.
Absolutely. It got
they got to catch them first,
but I took it to the cleaners and made sure it was clean, man, before I put it up, man, for sure.
Man, They didn't touch you that game anyway. You didn't even need to take it to the cleaners.
Exactly. I had 2 touchdowns before 2 minutes of the game. I was like, man, somebody else can get some now.
Love it.
And because I forgot you. So you caught 5 touchdowns altogether, man, dude. You freaking went off, golly.
6. It was 6. Don't shortchange me, Leighton. It was 6.
Well, that's what it says here on your article on the Wolfpacker. It says 5 touchdowns.
See, I got to get on Tim about that then. It was 6.
Okay. All right. Hey, I'll take it directly from the source himself. So
I know my stats.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. No kidding. No kidding. One more change there. So, first of all, Richard, let's kind of, take it all the way back, coming out of high school, depending on where you looked, I know that obviously recruiting has changed a lot from, early 2000s to it is now. But a 4/5 star, depending on where you looked. But, even to, you're always known as being the 4th highest commit in NC State history.
Absolutely.
Right behind Robert Crisp, but in front of the great Mike Glennon.
Exactly.
That's a heck of a list to be on, man. So kind of tell me first and foremost, what obviously getting to meet the Chuck the Chest himself, tell me the story, man. When did you first meet him, and did he have the sunglasses and shoes when you saw him the first time?
He had it all on, man. It was awesome. He came to my practice. Actually, it was a spring. Him, okay. Doc Holliday, and Coach Demo, Chris Demers, they all came to the practice, and it was wonderful because my coach, he was a legend, Coach Sam Sirianni, and he was a legend. He passed away my freshman year at NC State, and he coached at my high school for 33 years, and so I was his last guy that he sent to college, so he was a big deal. But it was awesome, man. I had them all coming in. First and foremost, I should have been a 5-star. That should have been a big deal.
Yeah. Well, it again, I mean, it depends where you look, but yes.
Exactly. I played offense and defense, so they had to give me some credit. And I was a stud on both sides of the ball. So, give me some credit back then,
At that time, had you committed to Florida State, you would have got that 5th star, I promise you.
Absolutely. You know it. And the thing about it, I was committed to Ohio State first. So that was a big deal. But it started Fort Myers High School, man, and I became one of the big stars, and I had everybody. I took visits to Georgia, Ohio State. I went to Florida. Florida actually flew me on a private jet. They came and picked me up on a private jet at our little airport we have here in Fort Myers.
That's a 20-minute flight.
That's what I'm saying.
It was about 45 hours.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad at all. But it was nice. They had the Florida Gator sign on the side. So they whined and dined you. It was pretty good. Ohio State was pretty good. But it was something about the weather up there in Ohio State when I went on the visit. Of course, Maurice Clarett was sitting next to me on the visit. So Justin Zwick. So they whined and dined me real good. But it was just something about the Wolfpack when I came on my visit with NC State, Philip Rivers, and I came with A.J. Davis, so we was on a visit together. But let me tell you a story how I knew I was coming to NC State. So I was committed to Ohio State. It was probably a week or two before signing day.
Well, and you flipped the day of, didn't you? Didn't you flip
exactly,
the
day of?
Yeah.
So
you flipped.
And I was sold on NC State. Coach Demers was at my house, and nobody knew. And I was like, Coach, I'm coming. and he sold me Coach Amato, Coach Doc Holliday, and that's when it was in-home visit. So Jim Tressel, the Ohio State head coach, was coming to my house after Chris Demers was leaving. So my mom cooked fried chicken and everything for Coach Demers. So we're all sitting down having chicken, and it was a great time. It was awesome. We was talking about how I was going to be on the field and everything with Phillip Rivers, and Coach Demers left. Well, long story short, Coach Tressel and his guys, they pulled up to my house in like 5 black limos. So it was a real deal back then, because I was like their number 1 recruit on their board back then. So it was a big deal. But they came up, and Chris Demers was in my house, and he stayed forever. And it was a time limit or something back then that they could stay. So Coach went over the limit, and he was there for hours and hours and hours. So tell you no lie, Jim Tressel and his guys were upstairs knocking on the door while Chris Demers was upstairs. And one of my high school guys, I don't know, it was a little it wasn't cell phones how we got now, but I don't know how I called them, but I called them, and I was like, come get me. And nobody knows this story. And I jumped off the 2nd floor balcony, and he picked me up because I didn't want to talk to Ohio State. I didn't know how to face the fact that I didn't want to go there anymore. Like I just didn't know how to do it. I really didn't. I really honestly didn't. So my buddy picked me up, and Jim Tressel was calling my phone for like the last 20 minutes straight. Like, come back and talk to us. And that was the funniest thing. That was one of the best recruiting stories nobody never heard. So I came back. I eventually came back, and I faced the fact, and I told him, I was like, I want to go to NC State. I want to go to NC State. I want to play with Phillip Rivers. I'm sold on Chucky the Chess, and this is where I want to go. So after that, I decommitted from Ohio State, and signing day, I shocked a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a couple of things for me. One, we need to make sure we check the statute of limitations to make sure, nothing gets out, right? So before we air this, great story. But
absolutely,
it's amazing how, had you done this today, it would have been like front page news on ESPN, right?
Sir.
But
yes, sir.
but the time that you did this in the early 2000s, it probably didn't even catch a blip other than the Ohio State community and the NC State community. And so it's amazing how far we've come in 20 years of recruiting.
Absolutely.
Well,
it was amazing.
The only thing that hasn't gone away, though, and Richard, when I was doing research, one of the things that popped up was an old message board for Ohio State when you had gotten released from NC State, and they were saying, man, what karma that he flipped on us, and then he got dropped. I'm like, oh man, see those bad fans have existed forever, man. So,
but a story about that, when we played Ohio State, like my sophomore year, we went up to Ohio State.
TA was in,
and we were getting off the bus, and they were sitting waiting by the gate. They were like, and I don't know how they knew me still to this day. And they were like, "Oh, Washington, we glad you didn't come. We like Santonio Holmes better." Oh, it was amazing, man. They took it serious. They really did, man.
But it's a badge of honor, though, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was getting out the bus with my boys, so it didn't matter. It didn't matter.
That's right. So kind of talk to me, because you actually arrived on campus for the 2002 season, but were ineligible, yes, correct? So why were you ineligible?
It was something like Prop 48, where you had the GPA but not the test score. So it was something like where you could still enroll on campus but you had the red shirt. But it was but for some reason it was NC State that I had to sit out. But I don't know if it was in other schools that I could have enrolled in, that I could have played first, but I don't know. But I was sold on NC State, so it didn't matter. But I was coming.
I got you. That makes sense. Well, and kind of talk to me. I mean, your first game out of the gate in 2003, you go to Winston-Salem. You go to, the black circle that NC State fans still roots this day. And you go off 9 catches, 85 yards, and a touchdown. And you even have one rush. You have a rush attempt for 10 yards. I mean, so I mean, obviously Chuck Amato said from day one, hey, we're going to use the heck out of Richard from day one. I mean, talk to me in terms of, I'm sure you would have loved to ideally start at home.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, kind of talk to me in terms of, I mean, did you know going into that game you were going to go off that first game?
Well, Noam Mazzoni, our offensive coordinator, he had a game plan because I think, if I'm not mistaken, the week before we played Western Carolina and Tremaine Hall, it was his first game. So he had to make sure Tremaine Hall did his thing and everything. But it was just the generosity and the respect that Coach had for us for being solid to NC State. And because I think for one moment, he was committed to Ohio State. So he ended up flipping to coming to NC State. But just being on the scout team and practicing against Terrence Holt, Thunder Dan, Burnett, it was amazing. Like, and they taught us how to be men. Yeah. Me and Tremaine, and because me and Tremaine actually won the new scout team award that year together. Because we were giving the defense like fits. Like, I mean, they were taking it serious on us sometimes, and we were the scout team, but we came in with that Florida demeanor to like where we're gonna change it. And he brought that Deerfield Beach mentality, and I brought the Fort Myers, and we just end up being the best buddies, and we end up being roommates and two of the most explosive people in that time for Chuck Amato. So it was amazing, man. It was great. It was great practicing with the guys and practicing against Maddox and being with TA, all the guys. So it was amazing. It was amazing.
It's crazy how even back then, like, no matter the coach, no matter the coaching staff, it's like that's what every player says is they taught you how to be men, like on and off the field. So like, was Chuck Amato, was that the first coach that you met from State?
Yes, he came to see me. He had to be the first person that came to see me, and
of course,
it was something about the red and white, man. I don't know what it was, because I played for Fort Myers Greenway. We're green and white. So to go from green and white to red and white, as a kid, 18-year-old, you want to follow your colors or something like that. But it was something about, and the thing about it, like, we didn't have the biggest stadium. We didn't have the nicest facilities at the point. But it was just something about the guys, Greg Golden, Marcus Hudson, the guys from Florida that I kind of related to when I first came on my visit. It was something about it that they were changing, and I wanted to be a part of it. And on my visit, it was amazing. It was amazing.
I kind of like your story, right? Because you could have gone to any of the schools in Florida, obviously Miami, Florida State, and Florida when. The early 2000s, that was the heyday of Florida football, the state of Florida football. And that you could have maybe gone in and been a mid-level fish in a big C, but you decided to come be a big fish in a little C, right? And so the fact that you wanted to go forge your path and, kind of make your mark outside of others, I just kind of wanted to know, like, just coming in and like the first time you played at Carter Finley, because everyone talks about the environment at Carter Finley, but when you first came back after playing on the road at Wake Forest and came and played your first game at Carter Finley, what was that like for you?
The love, like, and if you never done it before, you can never have that feeling of coming out that tunnel of Carter Finley Stadium, and it's empty when you go in, but when you come back down the stairs and everything, Chuck gives his speech and you're crying in the tunnel. You're thinking about everything back home and everything. Like, a lot of stuff going through your mind. Like, I got to make it. I want to have a big game. And running out that tunnel is something special. Like, it's something you can never experience if you've never done it before. But just seeing the red and the cheering and the smoke and everything just coming out, it's one of a kind. It's one of a kind.
Yeah. Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout Eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
Yeah, and for you, like, it was old school Carter Finley, right? The Devon Towers wasn't there, are now Truist Towers, the old grass hill. That's when, like, I was a fan, like sitting on the grass hill for like $2. Like,
exactly.
Like, you can't even get a hot dog at Carter Finley for $2 now. But just kind of seeing that, like, you were part of the renaissance, if you will, of NC State football, right? Like, your squads are the reason why we have Carter Finley Stadium the way we have it today.
Yes, sir. Amen. Yes, sir. We were a staple, man, and we brought in a lot of Florida guys. Like, Chuck recruited a lot of Florida guys. Like, I think at one point in the whole NCAA, we had the most Florida guys on the team, not from Florida. It was in the 30s or something like that. But we all brought it together with the North Carolina guys we did have, and we had some studs, man. Like, we just couldn't all put it together. But I truly believe, if Phillip Rivers stays one more year, my junior, when we had that number one defense with Mario, McCargo, Tulloch, and Hudson and Maddox, we're in the college football playoff some kind of way with that defense. Some kind of way with that defense.
That's always been the story of State. Either the offense has been really good, the defense lagging, or vice versa. We just haven't had that all three phases of the game at its top peak. But go ahead, Leighton.
Well, and you were talking a little bit earlier about Terrence, and I've been like, once you said that, I was like, oh my God, like, I am sure there's no doubt that Torrey Holt had to have been a big part of your coming to State,
yes, sir.
You being at State. I mean, because like that, I mean, that was the time where he was clicking with the Rams,
yep.
And I mean, at that point, I mean, and so I'm sure you had to look at Torrey Holt and say, I'm coming to take your records, man. Like,
listen, he brought me onto the sideline one time before we were in practice, and I didn't think he knew me because I'm a humble guy. So I'm not the guy on the number top 50 in recruiting the nation, or all that I don't care about. I'm a hard worker and I want to get the job done. I'm a teammate kind of guy. But he pulled me to the side one day, and I don't know the exact words what he told me, but it was just amazing to have him on the sideline just telling me, like, I'm watching you, keep it up, keep it going, And to this day, like, when I say stuff on Twitter, or he said he likes it or whatever, so it's like, Torrey Holt was like my status. So it's like, he's a Wolfpacker, so it's like that makes it even better. So it's like he's famous, he's a famous guy, because you getting caught up in that stuff where people are famous that way they can't seem to talk to other guys or something like that. But but he's always been the same Torrey Holt, him and his brother, man, but they always been awesome. Both to, like, ever since I met them, both outstanding guys, and they played the game the right way.
Yeah, Richard, we had our moment a couple weeks ago when Russell Wilson retweeted us, and we're like that meme with Jonah Hill going.
So exactly.
That was us. So we get it, man. We get it.
Tierra, though, his wife.
Yeah,
it's amazing, man. It's still amazing. Like, I'm still a fan. I'm still a fan.
I think that's the one positive that social media has brought us, right? Our ability to kind of connect with celebrities even from afar.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And definitely in part two, I'm definitely interested to talk about your thoughts about, the current state of state football, Coach Doran, things like that. But talking, finish up part one here, talking about your time at State. Obviously during your time, you got to play in some pretty big games, play at some cool places, and so kind of tell me, what would you say your top three favorite games you were a part of at State are?
Not necessarily based on your
Ohio
performance
State,
either.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, you played them twice. Sure. You played Ohio State twice.
Yes, at their stadium. Because listen, I've been on a visit. I was on a visit there, and it seemed different. But I never knew you can fill that many stands with that many people.
Yeah,
it's amazing how they fill those. It's 105,000 people. How does that many people fit in the stand? Like, I mean, in a matter of 30 minutes, it could be from 50,000 to 100,000 in 30 minutes. It's amazing. Lane Stadium, Virginia Tech was good. Well, we beat them on the last second field goal, but that was loud. That might have been louder than Ohio State. That was a loud game.
I say Virginia Tech sneaky good. They're sneaky. That's a sneaky stadium.
That stadium is something different about it.
Yeah, no, I've said Virginia Tech is in my opinion, one of the top 5 hardest place to play in college football.
Absolutely. It's different, man. It's different. Like, that was a different place. Yep. And of course, Florida State, when they get those tomahawk going, and when they get that going, it's one of the loudest things. It's like one of the most unique things ever you can see. But as being on the field, you can't hear them. You can hear it when we're calling plays or whatever, but seeing that on the field it's unique. It was amazing.
I'm sure.
But those probably are my top 3 stadiums that we probably went to.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah. I honestly, for me, like I've been to a couple of really cool big type stadiums, but yeah, I've not been to I haven't been to Tallahassee yet, and obviously Ohio State, but I'm looking forward to in the next 10 years where State's going down to play some SEC schools, and we'll start getting some of that flavor and kind of seeing how it's done SEC style.
Listen, we had the Wolfpack Club event for Stephen Tulloch probably about a year ago, and we met down, and I was sitting next to Boo Kerrigan at the event eating dinner. So I had my thoughts and everything. I was asking Boo, how much does it cost to put the other side? You know how we got Vaughn Towers on one side? How much does it cost to put the other side? Like, we need the other side. It looks, if we get the other side, that makes it like, that'll be like a real bowl inside, it'll be nice, man. If we get the other side going.
You're saying to finish the bowl in front of the Murphy Center? Is that what you're saying?
No,
on the other side of the other stands. You know how we got Vaughn Towers on the one side and it's just empty on the other side with just the stands?
Okay, so put like another tower on the other side.
Yeah.
I got you.
Like that. Because we got the scoreboard on the other end and we got the Murphy Center on the one end.
Right.
Well, when was the last time you were at Carter Finley?
2004.
Wow.
So
really?
Right when everything was
saw your tweet.
Opening up.
Notre Dame's about to be crazy.
2004.
A lot of different stuff.
It is past due, my man.
It's coming September 9th.
No. Listen, I'm thinking about taking my jersey out the frame so I can wear it.
Hey, you come wear it to my tailgate, man. I'm telling you right now.
Next tailgates are top tier. 100%.
I'm coming. We'll be there. Me, Stephen Tulloch, Andre Maddox.
Come on.
Tank Tyler.
Come on.
Willie Young. We're all coming together.
Willie!
We will feed you.
We're coming.
We'll feed you. Lots.
Yep.
We're coming. We're coming.
That's
so wherever you guys at, we're coming. You just let us know.
I'll hit you up.
We'll do it. We'll make it happen. Yeah, no. It's already in the plan. Just go ahead
absolutely,
and tell the guys.
absolutely.
It's happening.
Absolutely.
It's I'd like to say it's been brought. So we'll make that happen.
Yeah, no, but I'm dude, and especially now with this new scoreboard going in, the new sound system.
So honestly, if you think about it, you waited to the right time. Like I see what you did there. So you were like, you know what? Let them get it figured out, and then I'll come back when they're ready for me. I got you.
Absolutely.
I got you.
Hopefully it's not a monsoon like it was last time when we played Notre Dame. But
hey, I was there.
Yeah,
I was sitting on the 50-yard line outdoors.
It was
I had,
oh my god!
I'm not even gonna lie.
I had seats up in Vaughn Towers when it was still Vaughn Towers. Then I had seats, and I'm like, no, I'm going down, sitting in the elements, and I sat there the whole time. But so I guess my question for you is like, what? I know this is kind of like the stupidest, silliest, easiest question in the world, but like catching a football from Phillip Rivers, like I honestly want to know, like. Because everyone just kind of talked about him and his orthodox mechanics, and he wasn't going to make it, and all the nonsense that's been said over the years, and we don't need to rehash that nonsense. But what was it like, just running a pattern and then him putting the ball on the money? Like as soon as you turn around, it was like there for you, Listen, in stride or whatever he did for you.
It was nothing like I ever seen in my life. Like the command he had in the huddle. That he commanded, like it was like it's nothing I've never seen in my life. Like he's the best player I ever played with in my entire football career, bar none. Just how he commanded the huddle and demanded greatness out of everyone. It was just we had to be on point about everything, like our route running and just being in place, being held accountable. He held everyone accountable to be there because. I never seen someone pinpoint the ball every time, like in the perfect spot every time. It was just amazing how he did it. And I never forget this. He had a ceremony in Orlando about the award ceremony he was going to about getting an award about the top quarterback at that time. I think we were getting ready for the bowl game. And he went. Okay. And I tell you, no lie, he came to practice without no warm-up. He put on his cleats. He didn't warm up. He got in, and he threw a 60-yard post corner to Jericho Cotchery on the money with no warm up. I'm serious. I seen it with my own eyes. I was like, this can't be true. And he was just that amazing. And I never. It was something I never seen before. And you had to be there to see it, man, because you only get to see it once.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so grateful that I saw it, and I'm blessed that I made the right choice. Everyone in my community, they're like, oh, why did you choose NC State? Like, because we weren't a big school at the moment. And it was like, why you didn't go to Ohio State? Why you didn't go to Florida? You could have went to these places. But I was like, it's something about that place. It's something about that place. So I always cherish that moment. But bar none, the best player I ever played with. Second one, Jericho Cotchery. Bar none.
How was Philip Rivers' trash talk?
That was my next question. Go ahead, Kens.
Great question.
That's what I want to know about.
Listen.
Did it start in college?
Dadgummit.
Yes, of course. I think it started in high school.
Because I think it started out of the womb.
It was no way that he could trash talk the way we trash talk. It was like, and we made the defense like mad. I mean, and Chuck was he was a defensive guy. And we would make the defense so mad to where like they want to go full pass and they want to hit us like on a Thursday because we were trash talking so much. But he was one of a kind. He was one of a kind. It was sneaky, but at the same time, he can do it because he can get on the field and he can thread the needle. He was immaculate. He was one of a kind. And that's why he'll be in the Hall of Fame, NFL Hall of Fame soon.
And then I guess my follow-up with that is it would be so embarrassing to get like trash talk with the white dude with twang. Like just with that, oh gosh, whatever. Like it's dadgummit. Like it is
exactly,
legendary.
Man.
It is legendary.
Fun times, man. One other thing before we get on the, we had the bowl game. Fun fact, and this thing people don't know. And so we're in the right before the game kickoff. We were caught Chuck was talking, and Philip's in the corner. He was talking to us, and right before they called the captains out, Philip gets the stool that he's sitting on, and he starts doing curls with them to get his biceps ready for the cameras and stuff. That's the stuff people don't see. It's funny stuff that he does like that. And he's doing about 20-25 getting his biceps ready because he's going to be on camera tonight. So it was just stuff like that you don't get to see that that I remember, man. It was awesome, man.
That's amazing. Yeah, I appreciate these stories, Richard. These stories are on point, man. I'll tell you what.
Absolutely, man.
And again, we'll dive here in part two, start talking about your thoughts about Coach Doran and this football, program, man. Talking about, some NIL, your son as well. Interested to talk about that.
Yes, sir.
So make sure Wolfpack Nation, again, you go support Richard, man. I know he is going through a battle right now that
absolutely
hopefully he is about getting ready to defeat, which
we'll
hope and pray that will happen.
Yes, sir.
And again, we'll talk more about that as well in part two as well. So, but for us, Wolfpack Nation, make sure if you haven't already, again, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, which is free to do. So that way you're notified on all of our new NC State Tuffy Talk content. If you enjoyed this conversation, you love these stories, especially Richard jumping out of a window to avoid Ohio State, hit that like button, man, and give us a follow. Tuffy Talk now on Twitter, Instagram, man. With that being said, we'll see y'all for part two. Go Pack, y'all.